Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with his good friend, Mr. Jason Pritchard. How you doing, sir?
I am doing great. Zuber, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. One of the things you did this week, I forget, it might have been Wednesday or Thursday night, is you did some Instagram stories about asking people what their dream life is. Like
Yes.
what is that? So first, talk about that exercise. I thought it was amazing. I saw a lot of the stories. I saw your answers, which were on point. But first, talk about the exercise of just asking or thinking about your dream life. Why is that important? Why did you do that, and what did you think?
I think there's a couple reasons why I think it's important to me. I feel like most people are very vague and they don't really have a clear picture about what does their dream life actually look like, right? And it stems from a lot of different reasons. And I think the first step and why I was just trying to engage the people that follow me is just to get them to feel comfortable talking openly about it, right? I think sometimes we have these limiting beliefs about talking and sharing like what our dreams are because we feel like deep down either we're not able to do it or we're worried about how we're going to be perceived and who's this guy think he is, trying to do all these things, right? And I think it's just normalizing talking about stuff like that. That's number one. Number two, I think you've got to have a clear goal for what you want to do. And you have to have like crystal clear clarity on exactly what it is that you want. Because if you don't have a destination, wherever you end up is going to be fine, right? So you've got to have a goal in mind, right? So then that way we can start reverse engineering the steps that's actually required to take to get to that goal. I think a lot of times people, they have these big goals and visions and they think they need to make millions and millions of dollars a year to actually get there. But when you really get clear about what you want and then you start thinking about what does it take to get those goals, you only need 300 grand or 400 grand, right? And that's making 400 grand in a year or 4 million a year are two different things. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And so
one is
like,
slightly easier than the other.
exactly. So I think it's normalizing the conversation. Then I think it's getting clarity on what it is that you want. And then I think it's coming up with the steps to actually get there. Those three things.
Yeah, and I think and again, I do this all the time privately, but publicly here. Engagement. If you're not following Jason Pritchard, folks, you guys are missing out. He did this. He engaged. I saw you respond to interact with 8 or 9 different individuals with
Yeah.
vastly different goals. So people need to follow you. What is your Instagram page one more time?
Just my first and last name, guys. If you just put my first and last name, Jason Pritchard, into IG, that's the platform I'm probably the most active on. And I will answer. I love doing stuff like that. I love communicating with stuff like that. I've always enjoyed when I reach out to people and they've, engaged with me. So I love to pay that forward and help out when I can.
Yeah, the big thing for me, kind of just watching that from afar and admiring what you were doing, is um you're giving people permission to think big,
Mm.
right? You and I've talked many times. I don't do that well, right? What is my dream life? My answer, not meant to be cocky at all, is I'm living it, but I don't
Yeah.
have that big thing, right? I've sort of gotten to where the I don't have another level, right? It's kind of weird. So we have to talk about that. We'll talk about goals in video two, mine, so you can help me with those.
And that's an interesting thing too, because I think I struggle. So when we hit these, so for people like maybe you and I, right, that I would say I'm living my dream life now. Like what I was
Yeah.
visualizing 7, 8 years ago when I first started, like is what I'm doing now, right?
Mhm.
So then you realize, wow, this is attainable. And then what's next? So that's even a different challenge for people that are struggling to figure out what the dream life is, right? Because I think it stems from Zuber. I'm a big mindset guy, and I think it just stems from a lot of the belief systems that we have, and it's really
Oh yeah.
learning how to reprogram those belief systems in a way to get us closer to our goals versus kind of keeping us back. And most people are limiting themselves without knowing it.
Yeah, so this is going to be important. We're going to tie this video in with number two, because and again, right or wrong, and I expect you to blow me up if I'm off base. Um, when you get to the point where we're at, I think we have two choices. We can realize where we are and go, hey, we got here. That's cool. Let's go higher.
Mm-hmm.
What does higher look like for guys like you and I? Bigger house, private jets, double the size of our companies, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yep.
That's one thing. Or we can go, you know what? We're good. I'm going to spend the next decade reaching down and pulling people up.
That's it. And I
think
think
those are
most people,
yeah.
most people get caught up in the stuff, like the things you were like listing off, right? Like, oh, I need this. And what I've learned is that there isn't really any deep personal satisfaction that you get from the stuff, right? I think if it's always because of that, guys, it's like this hole in this void that you can never fill, right? You fill it with, you go from a regular car to a high-end SUV, then the sports car, then this car, then the jet, then the yacht, then the whatever. And it's just like that never ends, right? But
never ends.
What I think you can do is when your guys like us is say, and this is something that I'm starting to embrace a little bit more now, especially after the event that we had a few weeks ago, was learning how do we impact more people with our stories, right? Like, how do I, Jason, become a different type of version to stay, instead of impacting 600 people, how do we impact 6,000 people or 60,000 people or 6 million people, right? And you can point at different businessmen, different people that are out there that have done all of those things. So then we look at whoever the target is, right? And say, let's model what this person is doing. What does Tony Robbins do to model the millions and millions and millions of people to impact all of those people that he does over the course of his career, right? If you want to go that high to the top of the top, right? So I think the amount of impact that you have is much more satisfying than the stuff. That's for sure.
Now, I'm so glad you said that, because I didn't know this is where we're going to go. Because if you go to social media, it's all about stuff.
Yes.
Stuff. And you're right. It's a never ending. It's never ending. There's always more stuff and stuff. So I am very lucky. I had 3 audacious goals for decades, and I'm just going to share them here. For whatever reason, one of my first goals is I wanted a Rolex watch. Just was. So I was lucky enough to have a great sales career. I bought that decades ago. I got a crazy expensive watch, gold, diamond, nonsense. I never wear it, but I got it. Check. Second, I remember being 19 years old, married, working at a car stereo shop when a dentist rolled up in a Mercedes-Benz SL 500. I remember telling myself at 19, I'm going to have one of those one day.
Yeah.
So I bought
got one of those too. I've seen it.
I got one of those, right? Mercedes-Benz SL 550 hardtop convertible V8 twin turbo, just 6-figure car. Got it. Check. And then the thing that I never ever thought, but it was on my list, was to become a season ticket holder of the Golden State Warriors. And we did that, right? And again, I had to spend 50 grand just to have the right to buy the tickets.
Yeah.
And then you have to buy the tickets, right?
Yeah.
And so those big goals, got there, done that. The season tickets, I would admit today, was a mistake. I should have gone to 10 games and sat front row versus, wherever my seats were. The car is amazing. I smile still every day I drive it. I will admit that's every day. I drove it today. It's awesome. It's my everyday. I got 100,000 miles on that car.
Damn. That's good. Good for you. At least you're driving it. That's what I love about it.
Yeah. That's not a garage car. Yeah.
Yep.
And by the way, never race a Tesla. I did that one day. Crushed me.
Anyways, smoked.
It was embarrassing. Once I got to 100, I was catching him. But yeah, off the line, not good.
Yep.
And then the watch was stupid. But again, what I'm quoting it here is, it's not the stuff. It's like empty calories.
Yeah.
What I do now, and you'll see in my goals in video number 2, I get a kick out of this. When I send somebody this golden ticket for getting their first deal, that is an endorphin hit, more than sitting watching a game or anything. This is what you and I need to be doing.
That's right.
Going forward.
That's right.
We already got the stuff, the nice house. We could take a $20,000 vacation if we want to. We'll do that once a year, whatever it is. It's about this. The next 50 years, Jason, this is what you and I are doing.
That's right. I agree, man. And I feel like for everybody that's out there, when I first started in real estate, my goal wasn't to have like this positive impact, but I will echo what you said, Zuber, it is such an amazing feeling when you get somebody that reaches out to you that says, I get messages and DMs all the time from people that I haven't met or I've never talked to. And they said, hey man, I just wanted to reach out and say, thank you for inspiring me. My wife and I bought our first rental and we love your content. And we took so much of that information from that and applied it towards our lives. And that person's life is going to be different. You know what I mean? And I meet like That type of stuff, guys, I think is really important. So when you start down this journey and then you start to find progress, you said something earlier, you got to realize that it's, I believe, part of your responsibility to pay some of that forward and bring other people up with you. You know what I mean? And I think this social media and all the different tools that are out there is such a powerful vehicle for allow us to have a positive impact. And what I do is I just try to share my story and what's cool to me. And I'm speaking to the version of Jason that started 7-8 years ago. That's it. You know, like I'm not trying to, I have some similar things, guys. And I don't think we're saying there's anything wrong with the stuff. Like for me, the house is a big thing. Just like you said, the smile, you get in a smile every single day, right? When you get in your car, I get that same feeling when I pull up to my house, right?
Or that hallway when you walk in the front door.
Dude, like growing up, I never thought that I could be the kind of person that could own $1 million house, dude, like live in one, right? And so when I pull up every day, I get this sense of satisfaction and that same smile. And it's like all of this work that I did, this is part of the reward that I get to share for myself, my family. And I think that stuff's okay. And you got to layer that on top of these other big things like having a positive impact. And that's when you really start to see that thing moving really quickly, man. So yeah, it is Instagram and all that stuff. The stuff for most people is the most important thing. And you've got to find something bigger than that for sure.
Well, I look forward to doing this with you the next several decades, man. So one more time, where can people find you?
Just on either Instagram or Facebook. Those are the two platforms I'm biggest on, guys. Just put my name, Jason Pritchard, in there. And if I can help you, feel free to shoot me a DM and I will respond as fast as I can.
And do me a favor, folks. Send him a note today when you're watching this, just to let him know you saw my one retail at a time, so he knows his hour with us each week is worthwhile. Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate you.